Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's been a long summer, haven't had a chance to record, but we're back. And we're here in Farmville, North Carolina. And I've taken out a $500,000 mortgage, got 15 years of payments to make, and they're $3,600 a month. So we definitely have to be careful with what kind of money we're spending and how we spend it so that we don't get this place foreclosed. Now I've spent almost $300,000 already buying this property. And as you can tell, it's not definitely not great. The house will definitely need to be upgraded at some point. It's livable for now, but boy, it's rough. And as far as equipment goes, all we own is this pickup. So we've got a lot of work ahead of us and no equipment to do it. That's not good. Now, this did come with a pretty good farmyard here. All the buildings are small and old, but they're at least standing and they will work for storage and keeping our equipment at least somewhat sheltered here. So as you can tell, all the buildings are empty. And if we run... Here, I'll go back to the pickup actually. Make this a little faster. Jump the old Ford here. And we'll drive back here, and you guys can see our cornfield. So we have two fields, one is corn and one is grass. So as you can see, our corn's looking pretty good. We've got a 97% yield bonus, so this is going to be fantastic for our first harvest. However, there is a problem. We don't have any grain bins. So we're going to have to sell this corn right away. We're not going to be able to store it and sell it at the high price. But that's okay. And if we go back around here, you can see we have an old cow barn back here. Now, it's not great. It's definitely a little run down, but it will work for us starting out at least. And it's got a nice big pasture to it, so we'll be able to have plenty of cattle back here. That's a very, very good thing. Definitely want to get into some cattle and expand our operation. Not really sure where we're going to go with it. We're just going to kind of wing it, honestly, and see how things end up. But we'll head out to our other field here. And it's a grass field, and it is ready to be mowed and turned into hay. So that's a good thing. Bad thing is we don't have any equipment to mow it, rake it, ted it, or bale it. But as you can see, our grass field looks absolutely fantastic. So we'll get a lot of hay bales off this. The problem is we don't have any equipment. So I'm going to head to an auction that's supposed to start at 10 o'clock this morning and see what equipment I can come up with. Hopefully we can get everything that we need. Not going to hold my breath on it, but we should be able to at least pick up a few pieces of equipment. All right, well, we're back from the auction. We got a whole lot of equipment, to be honest. We did really, really good at that auction. There were not a whole lot of people there. I was surprised. So we got some really good equipment for pretty cheap. A couple of these are brand new. Unfortunately, I was not able to get the rake at the auction. I got outbid on it. So on the way home, we stopped at the dealer and picked up this brand new K-brand SR314 rake and the K-brand GF 8712 tedder. So those two pieces are brand new. But we need them, have to have them, otherwise we can't make hay. So the first thing we bought at the auction was this Case Farmall 1066. And we also picked up this New Holland Disc Bind 313. Used that for mowing our grass. And we also got this Gale 1310 round baler. Got that thing absolutely dirt cheap. Very, very happy with that. We also picked up this old grain truck here, which we absolutely need so that we can get our grain hauled to the elevator here this fall. And it's in really good shape. I'm very impressed with how well they took care of their equipment. So we also picked up, they had a John Deere 9510 with an 843 corn head and a 930 bean head. So we're not going to be using that bean head this year, but hopefully, if all goes well, we'll make enough money we can expand and have a couple more fields for next year. So we will put that bean head to use next year. The problem I'm going to have is storage. I don't have anywhere to put that bean head where it's going to be sheltered. So unfortunately, it's going to have to sit out in the elements. But that is all the equipment that we ended up with. So we spent $145,000 in total, which brings us down to $62,000. And we have rain coming, so I'm going to jump on this international and get to mowing hay here, or mowing grass, so that we can get it tedded and turned into hay, and hopefully we can get this done before it rains. Now, I don't have any way to pick up these bales yet. Unfortunately, this tractor did not come with a front loader, so that's going to be an issue. And I don't have a trailer to use either. So I'm not entirely sure what we're going to do there. But we'll get this thing fired up. And we'll get to mowing some hay here. So this shouldn't take too long. We're moving at a pretty good clip here. So we'll get all this grass mowed, and I'll catch up to you guys when we get her done. All right, we're finishing up our last little dab here, getting this grass mowed, and we'll be ready to ted. So while I've been mowing the grass, I've been surfing the Facebook Marketplace on the phone and came across somebody who has an old John Deere 4240 with a front loader and a bale trailer for sale. So we're going to go check that out after we get this field all baled up, because we need some way to pick up these bales. Now, since we're going to be selling off our corn right away, since we have no storage, I will be holding on to these bales until their peak price, which should be sometime in December, January, somewhere in that area this winter. And we'll sell the bales off then. But we'll hold on to them as long as we can, get as much money for them as we possibly can, because we're definitely not going to be getting optimal price out of our corn. Let's see if we can get this backed into the shed here. Now, I do have to say, this thing ran through the field pretty darn well. It didn't take much to run, and it was pretty smooth, pretty happy. So we'll get backed up to the tedder here, get this thing hooked up, and get to tedding. And we are trying to beat the rain. I don't know if we're going to do it. This rain is supposed to be hitting here in the next, between 15 minutes and an hour. So this could be a lost cause. Could end up having to do this multiple times. I'm not sure. But we're going to go ahead and try and beat the rain, see if we can get this field done before it rains. If not, well, we'll just have to do it all over again. But we should be able to fly through this field pretty well with this tedder here. It's not the biggest tedder in the world, but it is about the right size for this tractor, so we'll get this tedding taken care of. As you can see, that field looks pretty cool. I like the way it looks with that disc bind. I think it makes the mowed grass look, I like the way it looks. So, and something else we need to keep our eye on is a planter. So we don't have a planter at all, so we have no way to put crop in the ground next spring, so that is going to be our number one priority after we get our grain and hay bales sold, is finding a planter. Well, as you can tell, we only have a few passes left for tedding, but it has started to rain. So we're going to go get this tractor put in the shed, wait for this rain to quit, and we'll get started up again. So while it's raining, that gives us time to go take a look at that 4240 and the bale trailer and make sure that they are worth actually buying. And if they are, we'll go ahead and get them picked up and get them brought back to the farm here. Well, it is almost 5:30 and it's still pouring rain. There's no way that grass is going to dry out in time for us to get it baled today. But I did end up pulling the trigger on the 4240 and the bale trailer here. So as you can tell, it's not real big, but it's going to work. We got the bale trailer for $2,500. I couldn't pass that up. Now, I did definitely overspend a bit on the 4240 here. Spent about $47,000 on it, but it was worth it. We needed it. We needed the front loader tractor. Unfortunately, the bucket that came with it was just complete trash. So I didn't, I told him to keep that. I wasn't buying it. It just wasn't worth anything. So all we have is the bale spear. So I'll eventually need to find a bucket for it. Hopefully we don't have too bad of a winter, because I don't know if I'll be able to get a bucket for it before winter or not. But we're going to go ahead and call this a day, and I'll see you guys in October when hopefully the sun is shining. Well, welcome into October. As you can see, it's about 10:30 in the morning, and we're finally getting back out here in the field, getting this tedding done, and our corn is not ready yet. It will be November. So all we have to do this month is finish tedding, windrowing, baling, and get this field fertilized again. And it'll be good to go. We barely have enough to cover our mortgage this month, so I may have to sell off one of those bale trailer loads of hay just to make sure that we don't miss a payment, because that would be horrible if we missed a payment. So might have to go ahead and do that. It's not going to be, we're a couple months away from the peak price, so I really don't want to do that, but I might not have a choice. That weather definitely hurt us a bit, unfortunately, but that's farming, so you got to just take the punches and go with them. All right, our tedding is complete, so we'll get this unhooked, go grab our windrower, and get this field windrowed. Shouldn't take too long. It's not a huge windrower, but it is decent sized. I think it's 8 meters or something like that. So yeah, at 8 meters, shouldn't take very long, and we'll be able to get to baling. I'm honestly pretty excited to get that old Gale baler out and see how it does. I'm not entirely sure if it'll be a good baler, or if they saw a sucker coming and sold us a worthless, always broke down machine. But we'll find out. All right, well, we got all the windrowing done. We got the Gale baler here hooked up to our tractor, and we're going to go ahead and bale this up. I have no idea how many bales to expect off this field. I'm hoping for a lot, but I honestly have no idea. And all right, so this thing unloads in slow motion. That's not great, but that's what we get for buying a used baler that is well beyond its prime years. So this is definitely going to take a minute. Thank goodness we have all month to get it taken care of. But it is filling up fast, and we're doing 150 centimeter bales. So I'm hoping maybe we'll get 40 bales off this. That would be absolutely fantastic. That would be 5 trailer loads of 8 bales, and I'd definitely take that for our first cutting. So we'll go ahead and knock this out and catch up to you guys when we get her finished. All right, well, we got all of our baling done here, and I've got 47 bales. It honestly worked out better than I thought it would. I got more bales than I was really hoping for. I was hoping for 40, but didn't actually think I'd get there. So, we'll get this trailer loaded up here, and if you guys can't tell, I don't do this very often. But trying to go a little more realistic in this series, so we're going to try and load every bale with the front loader, and we're going to see how this goes. This could be great, or this could be absolutely terrible. I honestly don't know which, but I'll go ahead and get all of these loaded up. So it should be 6 trailer loads, and we'll see since it's 47, we'll see if I can't sneak an extra one on one of these loads. But this is, oof. Yeah, I definitely need some more practice with the front loader. That is for sure. So, I'm going to go ahead and get these loaded, and we're going to have to sell one of them off. And I also went ahead and sold that baler. It doesn't have net wrap. And trying to do a more realistic series here, not having net wrap was not a good idea. Didn't fit in with the series, so sold it. We'll figure out a different baler situation for next year. We'll just have to add that, to the list of the equipment that we need to get. And so the big goal here is to make enough money. Boy, this is terrible. But to make enough money to buy a planter for next spring, and obviously we have to pay for seed and fertilizer and all of our other input costs yet. So we need to make a lot of money. We'll have a lot of money going out in expenses, but yeah, this should be an interesting challenge, especially for my first series back. I really haven't played a whole lot this summer, so little rusty, but I'm pretty excited. I think this series definitely has a lot of potential, as long as I don't mess it up. That's going to be the hard part. Making sure I don't screw this up. Alright, we got our first trailer load here. That didn't go too bad. And I went ahead and grabbed another bale for the front of the tractor. Since we have 47 bales, we had that one extra, so I'm going to find a spot to stack all these bales. And then we'll go run back and get our second trailer load. And once we get all this done, then we will go ahead and fertilize this year. I'll have to run into the co-op and rent the fertilizer spreader. But I do believe somewhere back over here, I've got all this open grass here. I think right back here, right along the creek, probably be a pretty good spot to go ahead and unload all these bales and get them stacked. And we'll see how well I can stack bales. Honestly, I don't know if I've ever actually tried. So this could be great, or this could be an absolute disaster. Dealer's choice. But I did figure out earlier that putting the bales on the trailer anyway went a lot better running in the cab as opposed to doing it from outside of the cab. So this is how we will operate the tractor while we are stacking our bales. All right, well, as you can see, we got our first 9 bales all stacked up nice and neat. Didn't go too bad. Definitely need a lot of practice. I'm not very good at bale stacking at all. And I definitely should have mowed this grass because it's half a bale tall. And when I unhooked from this trailer, once it was empty, I had a heck of a time trying to find where it was again. It kind of disappeared off in the grass, so note to self, mow the grass before you stack bales. But we'll head back to the field, get our next trailer load, and continue loading and unloading and stacking. Alright, we got the last of the bales picked up off the field here. We got a nice stack back at the home place, and we're going to go ahead and take these and get them sold off. That way we can make sure that we don't run out of money this month. We should be good with $7 grand, but after interest and property maintenance, we're actually closer to, it's like 5,500, $6 grand is what our overall like monthly expenses are. So we have to be careful with how much we're spending and how much we have in the bank. Alright, and we're up to 13,000. Brought the bales up here to the farmer's market. Pretty happy with that sale. So that is definitely enough to get us through the rest of the year, or the rest of the year. That is definitely enough to get us through the rest of this month. So I'll head home, drop off this bale trailer, and then we need to head to the co-op and get the fertilizer cart and some fertilizer. So that's going to drop us a few grand. So should put us just enough to make sure that we eke by for this month. Alright, we're here at the co-op. Just got the fertilizer cart rented and loaded with 1,000 liters of fertilizer. I'm really hoping that's enough to cover our field. If not, we'll have to come back and get more, but it was almost $2,000 for fertilizer, and then rental for the day was $500. So as long as we get it returned today yet before 5 o'clock, it's only $500. If we don't get it back before 5 o'clock, it will go up to $1,000, and we'll be forced to pay a second day's rental. So we need to make sure we get this field done, and done quick. All right, well, we made it back to the farm here, so we'll go ahead and get this field fertilized quick and get this cart returned before our 5 o'clock deadline here. Alright, we got our fertilizing done. You can see our grass is growing, 97% yield bonus. So that is absolutely perfect. We'll go ahead and get the rest of this fertilizer unloaded before we take the cart back. And that way we can use it in our cornfield. Alright, well, I believe that'll do for the month of October. And I will see you guys in the next episode in November when we start our corn harvest. So if you like what you're seeing, please make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video.